Hi Rachel. This exercise is going to be looking at something called a personal SWOT analysis. So this really helps to clarify career objectives. So it looks at internal and external factors, and it really helps us to really identify what our strengths are, and looking at strategies to overcome our weaknesses, and looking at opportunities and threats within our industry on a wider scale. Mm-hmm. So it has 4 parts. So it's the acronym SWOT, SWOT. So it's looking at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So we've got some questions here around each of these areas. So I'll just go through them with you, and we'll see what we come up with. Mm-hmm. So this is really to clarify your career objectives, and it can also help you when you're looking at branding and how to, I suppose, exploit your strengths and look at your opportunities, and maybe some type of marketing tools can help you exploit those opportunities. Mm-hmm. So it's a real crucial part of personal branding. Okay, so let's look at the strengths part of this exercise first. So can you tell me what strengths you have? And it could include, skills, education, connections, mm-hmm. personality traits.
Yeah, well, I think obviously I guess a skill would be like my piano playing. Yeah. And I think I'm very organized as a person. I'm very methodical in the way that I work. And I also think I'm very determined. Once I start learning a piece, I'm really fixated on it, I guess. Yeah. I also think this can be like a strength and a weakness, but like being a perfectionist, mm-hmm. I think is kind of important as a musician in a way. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I also think I've been so lucky to study with such amazing teachers, both academically in the academy and with my piano teacher, Therese Fahy. And I think also I've had the chance being here to do a lot of masterclasses and make a lot of connections with, musicians that I admire, like Finian Collins, for example. Yeah. And yeah, I guess also being here, you get to study obviously alongside other amazing musicians our age. So I think that's also a strength, having that network maybe. Yeah. So
that's great, yeah. And what personal resources do you have access to?
I guess it's kind of a tricky question, but I guess my own determination and kind of, I guess, the way that I explore music, maybe, like the way I approach learning new pieces, things like that, yeah. Yeah. And what do other people see as your strengths? I mean, I'm not exactly sure, but I think in terms of playing, it would be like my depth. I think when I'm exploring pieces, I think I tend to do well with pieces that are quite dark, maybe, and I think I'm able to kind of tap into that and really, really have a deep interpretation. So I think that's probably what people would maybe see as my strengths, but I'm not. And I guess being really hardworking as well.
Yeah, I was going to say your personal strengths. I mean, you're here today, you turned up on time, you're motivated, you're easy to work with. They're huge attributes for you. So so that's for the strength I see in you. Which achievements are you most proud of?
I think in terms of piano, would definitely be the competitions that I've done well in, because I really love doing competitions, even though it's really hard. But there have been a few things that I've done this year that I've done really well in. Like, for example, I won the Tessier bursary here, which is for €10,000. It's a piano competition. Yeah. So I think whenever, because it's so hard to do competitions, that whenever you do well, it's just really makes me really happy. Yeah. So,
Great. And what are your core values?
I think probably one of the main ones in terms of music and just in general would be integrity. Because I think as musicians, when we're interpreting works, we obviously want to, or we should want to realize the intentions of the composer as best we can. So I think really trying to do that and trying to analyze the score in a lot of detail and make sure that I'm doing that to the best of my ability. And then I think also honesty is really important to me. Like, for example, if I'm playing in performance class with peers, I always would want them to be honest about, feedback for my performance, say, and I think I'm always honest when I'm giving feedback, obviously in a nice way.
Yeah.
But I do think it's really important to, communicate in an honest way. So.
Okay. And let's move on to the next bit, which is weaknesses. So you can see how, looking at your strengths there, you already have a good chunk of your biog done, or a covering letter if you're applying for a job. You also have a good bit of your LinkedIn profile done, or a lot of your social media accounts. You could put those strengths in there as part of a nice mission statement for yourself. Yeah. So weaknesses. So tell me, what work do you usually avoid because of lack of confidence?
I think something that maybe I'm a little bit insecure about is like technical ability, I suppose. So I think I'm not, like, as I was saying, my strength tends to be in having like a deep interpretation and things like that, but I think it wouldn't necessarily be in terms of like really flashy technical pieces, like etudes, for example. So I think I tend to maybe back away from them a little bit so that I can show my strengths in other pieces.
Yeah. And what do you think other people think your weaknesses are?
I mean, maybe that. I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess maybe technical things. And I think at times maybe I can be narrow-minded. Maybe, like, I know my friends would maybe say that like when I'm preparing for something or working really hard on piano, I tend to really just hone in on that and not pay attention to like other things in life. Yes. Which I guess is kind of a strength / weakness. I guess it depends on how you look at it.
But. A lot of strengths and weaknesses, they can be either. So it's interesting. So are you happy with your educational skills training?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, as I said, I've just finished, literally just last week, finished the degree, the Bachelor of Music Performance degree at the Academy, and I definitely think I was really lucky to have a lot of amazing lectures, and I've definitely learned a lot through doing that. Yeah.
Okay, great. Do you have any negative work habits?
I think probably the main one would be like getting distracted. Yeah. I think a lot of the time with like phones and social media, especially for people my age who have kind of grown up with it a little bit, it can be a bit of a distraction, like checking my phone and stuff like that when I should just be like 100% focused. So that's something I could definitely work on. Yeah,
I think we all could. Yeah. So which of your personality traits hold you back?
I think maybe sometimes I limit myself, maybe. Like what I was saying about thinking that I'm not as like technically proficient. I think sometimes when I kind of think that, and then it makes me doubt myself maybe, or feel like I'm not good enough or things like that. So I guess like self-doubt would probably be the main one. Yeah.
And it can be crippling for musicians to have self-doubt, or when it grows, so it's great to be aware of it and to be able to work with it. Okay, so the last question about your weaknesses, are you lacking skills in an area of work? You mentioned before maybe tech stuff.
Yeah, I think I can definitely use social media, but I think in terms of knowing how to promote something, like running ads, for example, I've never done that and I don't really know how to do that.
So we're going on to opportunities now. So what new technology can assist you in your career?
I mean, I think kind of, as I was saying, like learning how to maximize social media in like a professional capacity. Yeah. I think that definitely could be hugely beneficial. Even like I don't really use TikTok, for example, but I know I think it's the biggest social media platform now. Yeah. So I think learning how to like tap into that, and I guess what kind of angle to approach it with would be definitely very beneficial for my career.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you take advantage of the market in its present state?
I guess if I was to really start maximizing social media, because I think the market is online a lot of the time. And even like I've seen a lot of musicians that have like YouTube channels and post videos on YouTube and TikTok, and
Yeah.
I think they are, I guess, taking advantage of the market. But I think a lot of people, it's kind of hard when obviously we spend so much time practicing and like trying to get our playing to a high level, but it's like sometimes we maybe forget or don't prioritize using those kinds of social medias.
Yeah.
So I think now I'm not taking advantage of the market because I'm not really doing that.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Do you have a network of strategic contacts to offer good advice or to help you?
Yeah, I think I could definitely have more contacts. But I do think, especially from being in the academy, I have made a lot of contacts. And like, for example, my teacher, Therese, she's so helpful, and she definitely is a great mentor in terms of giving advice to do with music things. So yeah, but I think as I get older, I definitely want to try and build my network even more. So.
Yeah. Is there a need in society which no other musician is filling that you could fill?
I'm not sure about no other musician. But yeah, I think there definitely is a gap for like a young musician doing concerts and things like that, maybe.
Yeah.
And then also using social media, as I said. But I do think that people are, like, I do see people that are younger doing that now. So I guess, I mean, it's not a spot which no one is filling, but maybe
there's room.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
And lastly, about opportunities, could you create an opportunity by offering solutions to problems?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of almost like going back to the idea for the concert.
Yeah.
Like trying to get young people into classical music. So I guess trying to kind of be thoughtful in the way that like you plan concerts to try and get young people engaged. That's kind of a problem, obviously, not young people not being interested in classical music. So I guess that could kind of solve that maybe.
Yeah. Lastly, threats. So what hindrances do you currently face as a musician?
I think, I mean, for me, since I'm kind of, I'm very early on in my career. So I think now what I'm focusing on is like improving my playing.
Yeah.
And I haven't really got into, doing concerts and things yet. So I mean, I'm not exactly sure what hindrances I face yet.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I'll definitely come across that.
Could you look at hindrances maybe like climate change or the recent global pandemic? They could be issues for us as musicians because we travel so much. But then I suppose if you go back to the opportunities, the access to online concerts and how technology can help us could also, you can balance that out. So it's just interesting to think about that as well. Are any of your peers competing with you for projects or performance opportunities?
I think right now we're all very focused on like improving our playing.
Yeah.
So I think maybe not right now, but I guess in the future, in a few years, when we're performing more and really kind of in that performance space, that will maybe be more of a problem, maybe, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think right now, no, I would say. Okay. Or I'm not sure what you think about that. But.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say later when you're maybe trying to make a living, there could be competition there to who gets the paid work.
Yeah.
But it's maybe not. Is your role as a musician changing, do you think?
I think it definitely is because of social media, kind of what we were talking about before, but I think you can definitely make a living in multiple ways now as a musician rather than just doing concerts and that's kind of it. I think you can do concerts and also maybe have like an online presence, maybe do like promotional things through that can be kind of another aspect to your career. So I definitely think I'm entering the career at a stage where there's a lot of options maybe.
Yeah,
so
the portfolio career seems to be the most popular for musicians at the moment. Do you think technological changes threaten you as a musician?
I think there are more advantages than disadvantages, I would say.
Yeah.
Because I think you can reach a way broader audience, obviously, than if they didn't exist. I don't really think that they would threaten a career. I think they can open you up to a whole new range of people who can become aware of you, and yeah.
Yeah. Can technological changes threaten you as a musician, do you think?
I think in a lot of ways the changes are positive because you can reach a whole new group of people through social media that you never could before. Like you can watch a musician who's from America or something like that without ever traveling, and I think it can be great for promotion of yourself. But I guess also I love live performances, and I know obviously most musicians do. And for example, I don't really enjoy recording that much, and I think that definitely in the last year or two, I've definitely recorded a lot, which I personally don't like as much in terms of the organic sense of live performance.
Yeah.
So I think I definitely wouldn't want to lose that as well.
Yeah.
With obviously the move to social media, I think that live performance is still the kind of preferred way.
Yeah. And lastly, could any of your weaknesses lead to threats?
I think the self-doubt thing definitely could be very negative if I don't kind of control it and I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
And also backing away from the more technical things. I think that obviously you can't do that forever.
Yeah.
But I think I am hopefully aware of both of those things, so hopefully it'll be okay.
Work with it.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks Rachel. That was really, really great. Thank you.